Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to give you a quick introduction to a group of treatises called the Rutter Guides. They're also called California Practice Guides. Now here's a little bit about Rutter itself says about its guides. As you can see, they basically do the same thing as the CEB treatises. They do seem to be more focused on litigation, and I do know these are very popular with the lawyers. This is what the Rutter Guides look like now. They used to be published mostly in a loose leaf format, and we actually still have one or two on our shelves that are in the loose leaf format. I'm sure eventually we will get new ones that are in paperback. Now the loose leaves used to get annual replacement pages where we would take old pages out and put new pages in. Now that they've switched to this paperback process, we actually get an entire new set, and we remove the old set and we actually put them up for sale on our book sale shelves, and we put down the newer version. Now this is the set that I've chosen to use to demonstrate Rutter Guides to you. It's the Landlord-Tenant set. I don't plan to go into a lot of detail on the rest of these treatises sets because I think you have the basics down now. You can either find things because you've found a citation somewhere, or you may have to use the table of contents approach or the index approach. So I will just be very quickly showing you what each of those looks like. In the front of the first volume of each set, there will be a list of the major update highlights, and this will primarily be helpful for the lawyers who practice in an area. They can look quickly and see what changes have been made in the field. Then we have the table of contents to the entire 2 volumes. If I recall correctly, the first 6 chapters are in the first volume of this set, and the rest are in the second volume. At the end, you have some other tables that I will show you quickly, such as tables of statutes, regulations, and cases. And then at the end of the second volume is the index. To further demonstrate the table of contents, I've turned to the beginning of chapter 7. And you can see here the first page of the table of contents to this chapter. Now suppose what I'm interested in is what things are illegal for the landlord to do to try to get the tenant to leave. And so I can run my finger through this table of contents, and eventually I will find that there's a section about landlord's unlawful actions to influence tenant to vacate. And it tells me what page to turn to. Here are a couple of the other tables that are in the back of volume 2. So for example, if I knew this section of a particular federal act, like say the National Housing Act, or if I knew a specific section of the U.S. Code, I could look in that table and it would tell me where it was discussed in the book. Similarly, here are 2 more tables in the back of volume 2, one telling you where to look in the book for discussion of specific sections of the Code of Federal Regulations, and the other for specific sections of the California statutes. The page I picked shows only the civil code sections, but the entire California Code is represented in the table. There's also a table of cases in the back of volume 2. Here, if you're familiar with a case name, you can look it up and find out where it is discussed in the book. And of course, at the back of the second volume is an index. Now here is the content for what we looked up in the table of contents, which is the landlord's unlawful actions to influence tenant to vacate. You can see here it goes on for at least part of the first and all of the second page. Finally, Rutter Guides are published on Westlaw. I believe Rutter Guide might also be available on Lexis if you are paying for that level of service. Rutter Guide is a West publication, so Lexis has to pay them a fee to include it, and that may be why it's not included in our account. However, you can access Rutter Guides on our Westlaw account.